Okay, kiddos, this is my second video. This is August 2019, all the questions that have to do with quadrilaterals. Starting with number 2, they're giving us information about a parallelogram, and they're asking us for the intersection of the diagonals. Well, one of the properties of the parallelogram is that the diagonals bisect one another. Therefore, the midpoint of both diagonals will be the intersection. So you're going to use the midpoint formula. So take the non-consecutive vertices, such as CE. I have -5 plus -1 divided by 2. So that's -3. And then I have, again, I'm using C and E. I have 5 plus -1 divided by 2. So it's choice 3. Okay, the next question on this topic is number 7. So on number 7, they're giving you a parallelogram, and they're asking you for the measure of angle EFA. Well, remember, geometry comes in layers. So if you look at this angle, what kind of an angle is this? Hopefully you said an exterior angle of a triangle. So that angle equals the sum of these two angles that I marked off. The other information they give us is that angle B is 75 degrees. And then they tell us in the stem of the problem, they give us information about bisecting. So that means that you have this pair of angles congruent and this pair of angles congruent, because an angle bisector splits an angle into two equal parts. This 75 would be the same as the measure of angle ADC. This angle here is going to be 75, because in a parallelogram, opposite angles are congruent. Since it's split in half, this is 37.5 degrees, which makes this angle down here 37.5 degrees. When you have a parallelogram, the interior angles on the same side are supplementary. So the measure of angle DCB plus the measure of angle B equals 180. And we know that this is 75 degrees. Okay, therefore the measure of angle DCB is 105. If you split that in half, you get 52.5. So this is 52.5. If I add 37.5 and 52.5, I actually get 90 degrees. When I get that 90 degrees, the measure of angle DEC must be 90 degrees. And then vertical angles are congruent, so that's 90 degrees. Add 90 and 37.5. That's 127.5. The next question on this topic is number 13. Okay, and again, you can rewind and watch this again. I have to go at a fairly quick pace because otherwise the file won't upload because it takes up too much memory. So in number 13, they're asking what would always prove that quadrilateral QRST is a parallelogram. Helps to draw it first. QRST. So in order for that to be a parallelogram, if both pairs of opposite sides, for instance, are congruent, that would make it a parallelogram. And that would be choice 3. Taking a look at number 23, they're referring to a rhombus, and they want to know what transformation would carry the rhombus onto itself. This is more of a question about the line x equals 0. Let's see if you know where the line x equals 0 is. Hopefully, you said that that is the equation of the y-axis. So if you reflect the left part over and reflect the right part over the y-axis, it's going to map onto itself on both sides. So that would be your answer, choice 4. Okay, the next question is number 25. In number 25, they're asking you for the measure of angle B, and they're asking you to explain. First and foremost, you can add the 98 and the 36, okay, which gives you 134. So you have 98 plus 36 is 134. When you subtract that from 180, you get 46 degrees, and that is the measure of angle D. So angle D is 46 degrees. Therefore, the measure of angle B is 46 degrees, because in a parallelogram, opposite angles are congruent. Now, explain means right. So I would say that a triangle has 180 degrees. Therefore, and you can use the 3 dots as therefore, the measure of angle D is 46 degrees. And then in a parallelogram, opposite angles are congruent. Therefore, the measure of angle B is 46 degrees. That's enough of an explanation. You really don't need more than that. Okay, the last question that's on this topic is number 35. They're asking us to prove that triangle ABC is isosceles. I would start off by graphing these 3 points, A, B, and C, on the coordinate plane provided. So if I graph those 3 points, I have A is 1, 2. Then I have B is negative 5, 3. And then I have that C is negative 6, negative 3. So if you connect these up, I can see that BA and BC are likely to be congruent. So all I need to do to prove that a triangle is isosceles is show that 2 sides are congruent. So I'm going to get the measure of BA and BC. To find BA, I find how far the X values are from one another, and then how far the Y values are from one another. For BC, the X values are 1 apart, and the Y values are 6 apart. Okay, this really doesn't look like a squared, so let me make that look like a squared. Okay, so I get rad 37. You need to make a concluding statement. Triangle ABC is isosceles because 2 sides are congruent. It asks us to find the coordinates of point D so that ABCD is a square. Okay, the cookie here is that it has to be ABCD. It has to go in that order. So to find D, I would use the slope of AB, which is equal to negative 1/6. So the slope of AD is going to be the opposite sign reciprocal because they're perpendicular. So I'm going to go down 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to go left 1. Negative 6 over negative 1 is just 6. So that's D. And then it asks me to state the coordinates of that. So that's 0, negative 4. You must make sure you answer the question. You must make sure you put it in parentheses, okay? It's always the job of the student to communicate to whoever is reading their paper. Okay, I don't even need to connect that. It doesn't say anything about that. So to prove that this is a square, I already found the measure of AB and BC. So I'm going to find the measure of AD and CD. Then I'm going to find the measure of the diagonals, the non-consecutive vertices, which would be AD oh, sorry, AC, my bad. AC and BD. Okay, so get these measures. So if I look at the coordinates of A and D, the X values are 1 apart. The Y values are 6 apart. You do not have to import your work from the first part of the question. CD, the X's are 6 apart. The Y's are 1 apart. Okay, so now you can see it's a rhombus. Then to prove that it's a square, we need it to be a rectangle. So we get the diagonals. If I look at AC, all right, the X values are 7 apart. And the Y values are 5 apart. 49 plus 25 is 74. You do not have to simplify square roots. Okay? All right. And then we need to find the distance between the X values for B to D. So that's 5. And then the Y values are 7 apart. So you get the same thing. Okay, then you need to do a concluding statement. So I would say A, B, C, D is a rhombus since all 4 sides are congruent. And then I would say A, B, C, D is a rectangle since the diagonals are congruent. And then I would say, therefore, A, B, C, D is a square. Because if it's a rhombus and a rectangle, it is a square. All right, I hope that video helped you to see how to do these Regents questions. Feel free to rewind and watch again. Thank you. Have a good day.